Hi everybody, welcome back to another crafting with me, Avivah, your art director from the Ed Asner Family Center. Today, we are making something really fun and something that you can definitely do indoors during this super hot weather, okay? So we are going to be making some paper beads. This is a super fun indoor activity that you can do with the AC blast and, if you've got that luxury. So you're going to need a few things today. There's a bunch of different ways that you can make paper beads, but I'm just going to be showing you the basics, keeping it simple. We are going to be needing, I've got this lovely stack that we got donated to the center of all this beautiful scrapbook paper. So this is great. I definitely suggest using scrapbook paper for these beads, but it's also great if you use anything else, like newspaper, magazines, any type of patterned paper, even old wrapping paper. Anything patterned would be great. I definitely suggest doing that before you go out to your local craft store and buying a whole stack of paper like this. Use what you got around the house first. Okay. So that's going to be our base. This is what we're going to be making our beads out of. But then to make sure that they're sturdy, I'm using tacky glue. And you can get this at any craft store. But if all you have is Elmer's, why am I forgetting? Oh, glue stick, then that's fine too. You're going to need a ruler and some scissors and a pencil. And string to string your beads. And then I have here, I don't know if you can see, I got some really shiny beads, and these are going to be my separator beads. My little beads I'm going to put in between my paper beads to give it more of a finished look, give it a little bit of shine in between my beads. That's optional though, you don't really need beads. But one of the most important things is your skinny little tube-shaped, people use toothpicks, okay? I am going with the flow. I have what I've got and available here, and so I'm using nails today. But if you've got toothpicks, that's even better. Alrighty, so let's jump into it. So let's clear our space. Let's make sure our sleeves are rolled up. And let's get started, okay? So first things first, I want to choose out what kind of color I want my beads to be, okay? Let's take a little ponder through our book. I've got some gold beads for my separators today, so I'm thinking I want to do something that'll look good with that color. So maybe a nice warm tone, orangey something. It's one of my favorite colors. Let's see, something good. But just keep in mind that if you choose a pattern, if you find a pattern that you, this is nice, that you love a lot, just keep in mind that you're not going to be able to see the whole thing. You're going to only be able to see a little bit of it peeking through your rolls, because we're really going to just be rolling up our beads today. Okay, here's a little bit of a similar kind of pattern. I'll go for this kind of paisley look. I'm going to choose 3 different colors because I'll be making 3 different beads today. Ooh, and I love this Hawaiian. Let's just go with that. Those colors look kind of nice together. Okay, so moving that to the side, I'm going to show you how to start making your little triangles for your beads. So here, I have a diagram that shows you different styles of how we're going to be cutting our beads today. So this is the bead that we're going to be making today, and it makes it so it gets smaller to bigger to smaller on the sides. You can do this fancy one where it kind of has a little figure 8 kind of design, like a cone shape. There's so many different types. And these are the strips on the kind of pattern that you would be making to get those shapes. But we're going to keep it simple today and just go for this nice triangle shape. So if you're lazy like I am and you want to cut a bunch of different colors out at once, I suggest stacking your paper and then just cutting it like that. So this is the time when you're going to get your ruler out, your scissors, and your pencil. Okay, So just like the diagram here, you're going to be wanting to cut about as long as you want your bead to be. So this beginning line here is going to be how long you want your bead to be. So you're going to start with a rectangle and lead it into a triangle. So I want my beads to be, let's see, I want my beads to be about like an inch. So let's see here. I'm just going to stack these babies up. Okay, making sure they're even. Perfect. Okay. So now, actually, just for example, I'm not going to stack right now. I'm just going to show you with one nice piece of paper. So I'm going to take my ruler, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to come all the way to the end here, and I'm going to mark off where 1 inch is, okay? 1 inch. So from here to here, and then what you're going to do is you're going to have that line go up slightly. And you are going to be taking that line, see how I am an inch away? I'm going to just be making the top of my ruler kind of hit that corner there. So we're really going to be making a nice long triangle shape, just like this. And if you can see, I know it's a super patterned kind of page, so it's hard to see, but I've made a nice triangle. But since it's a straight line here, I want to make sure both of my triangles are going diagonally, okay? So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So sometimes it's easy to flip your paper over so you can make sure that all of your beads are the same length. And you are going to just make a little line where your inch is, and then do the same thing, but connecting it to your beginning line that you made on the other triangle, okay? So starting from there, I'm just getting my ruler, connecting it up to that top corner and to my inch mark, and just making sure it doesn't wiggle around. And just, whoops, and just bring it all the way up to the top. Okay, that looks pretty good. And so what I'm going to do is I'm only going to take one color of this, put this, make sure you don't have to throw away your paper now. I always see a lot of my students, once they make one cut on a piece of paper, they think that's it. You can't really use this piece anymore because it's already been cut on. And that's just not true. Maybe you have another project where you need just a little bit of this pattern too. So you never want to throw away a whole sheet like this. Get the whole use out of it, you know? All right, so your triangle should all look like this. And let me just move this so you can really see. So now you have kind of like a pattern shape that you can do for the rest of your pieces. If you don't want to get your ruler out, you could just use it as like kind of like a way to trace on your other pieces. But I'm going to cut out the rest of my beads, and then we're going to start working on our next step. All right, I have all 3 of my triangles cut out, and now I'm ready for our next step, which is basically what the whole project is rolling up these pieces of paper super tight around our toothpick or nail. So that you want a shape that's about the size of your string. Today I'm using this kind of like cord kind of string, kind of feels like fishing wire. I suggest using more of like a stretchy kind of string. This is all I had around my house today. But something that you can stretch, especially if you're making a bracelet or if you're making a necklace, something that's easy to kind of like go over your head or over your hand, you know? But so what this process is what you're going to do is you're going to find one of your triangles to start with, okay? And you are going to be taking your nail or your toothpick and starting to roll this down through all the way to the end here. And you see my triangles are pretty long, and that would be a lot of rolling. So what I suggest is taking your triangles, lining them up, and I'm going to be actually cutting these babies in half. You're going to want the side that has the point on it. So I'm going to go about here. And so this is going to be how long my beads are. And then depending on how long it goes this way is how thick your beads are going to be. So, experiment it. See what kind of shapes you like, how thick you like your beads. It's totally up to you. So what I'm going to do to start it off is I'm going to just do a little bend here without the actual nail. So I can just like get that rolling motion kind of going. So I'm going to place my nail here on the end. See if you can see that. And I'm just flipping it over here. And you want to make sure it's as close to it as possible. So try and take your tacky glue. Got to take that cap off. And you're going to be making little dots of glue as you come down. As you turn, you're going to add more glue. So for a size like this, you're probably going to only need about 3, making sure that you put one last little dot once you get to the end of your bead. So starting it off, I'm just adding a little bit of glue here and kind of spreading it around. It doesn't have to be a lot. When you squeeze your bead and when you roll it, it's going to really kind of squeeze and press all over. So if you see, I'm kind of using my fingers in like a pinching movement and kind of rolling that paper through the nail here. And so I've made it a little bit further down my bead, and so I'm going to add a little bit more glue. And I'm going to keep on rolling. Keep on rolling. And if it gets a little loose, sometimes I suggest kind of pulling it slightly and then rolling it back up. Sometimes pulling it, rolling it. And your hands are going to get a little sticky. I'm just letting you know now. See, I'm almost here at my little tip. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue here at the end. You want to make sure it goes all to the tip. I'm really only using a little bit of glue, if you can see. Little tiny drop. I'm kind of using my finger. I'm not afraid of glue. So if it's a little bit too sticky for you, this project, I suggest wearing gloves or having a friend help you with this glue part. But see, I just spin it around my little bead. And I definitely suggest using darker paper because as you kind of roll your bead down the pin or toothpick, it gets a little bit gluey and a little bit dirty on the outside if your hands are a little bit dirty from crafting like me. But this is your first bead. It doesn't look like much, but when you have a bunch of them, they look so pretty together, and see how it makes that little cone shape on the end. And so I'm going to make 2 more beads, and so I can show you what they look like on a string once you have a bunch down, because right now this just looks like a little gum wrapper. But once you have a bunch and a bunch of different colors, it looks beautiful. So one sec while I finish these last 2 beads, and we will keep on crafting. So I have made my 3 little beads here to show you. Later, I'm definitely going to be making some more to finish this project off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just put those to the side here. I'm impatient. I'm not letting them dry, but this tacky glue really dries quick. It's like the fastest drying wet glue that I've ever honestly used. So now I've got these nice string beads of like these pretty gold ones. So before I do that, I'm going to make sure that I measure out my string. I'm just going to cut it randomly because I'm not really going to use this string for my necklace. This is just an example. So I have my string here. And so what I suggest doing is just getting your beads together and kind of placing them on the table in the order that you want them to lay on the string, okay? So I am just cutting off a few of these gold ones. And I think I'd like my little white one to be in the middle here. And then my purple and my orange to be on the side. And then I'm going to put 2 golds in the middle. I'll just separate them with my little gold beads here. Okay? So just like that. So I suggest taking the first gold bead, right? And you're going to be stringing that through. And then I suggest tying a knot around that bead. So that really gives you the security of knowing that after all of your work, your beads aren't going to fall off, you know? So just tying a knot around that bead is super helpful. Can't really tie a knot around your paper ones because they're just so long and wide. Okay, so I have my first bead tied onto my string. Hopefully you guys can see that. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stringing. So my first purple, and then my separator bead, and then my paper bead, and so on. You guys get the idea. So this is the reason why you want to use something skinny, right, to roll your beads, because if you use something super wide, like a pencil, then your beads would kind of just go over your little separator beads. I definitely do suggest using separator beads just to make that finished look. You know, it gives a little bit of pizzazz. You know me, I love pizzazz. Okay. And so there we have it. It should look a little bit something like that. I think that's so cute. I can't, whoop. That's why you want to tie it off at the end, but you guys get the idea. It's so pretty, right? Once you make a whole bunch, you could just make a long string of them, and I suggest even like just wrapping it around like a giant necklace. These are so fun. Such a really sweet project to do indoors when it's so hot right now. A nice little cool down project, not too messy, but super fun to make and super pretty. So I hope you guys enjoyed this project today. I really am excited to make some more beads later. Next time you see me, I'm just going to be jeweled up with all this cute paper. I'm going to really see if I have any cute wrapping paper at home too, so I can make some more colors, you know, make it super festive. All right, send me photos of your paper beads, okay? I want to see you all gemmed up. Papered up. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for crafting with me.